done for his players throughout the years. You know, I knew I wanted to coach back in high school, and throughout my career, he's a guy that I wanted to emulate myself after. He's just the ultimate role model.
When you look at Coach Curran, he's back coaching all his high school basketball, but he always would find time to talk and teach. You would reach out to him often about your days as an assistant at Seton Hall, your head years at St. Peter's University. What type of wisdom could he give you now as you move on to become a college coach?
Well, you know, it's funny. Quick story. We win the MAC tournament 2 years ago, and we win the championship. We're going to the NCAA tournament. I get about 500 between texts and emails, phone calls, and Coach is one of them. And I call him back. He's probably my first call, maybe after my mom, you know. And I call Coach, and well, what really touches my heart, and something I'll never forget, is he said that he had never been so nervous watching the last couple of minutes of our game, because we actually almost gave it away.
Right.
So that touched me, you know, and I'll take that for the rest of my life through my journey. But after he gave me the sentimental talk, he started coaching me on how I could have broke the press a little better. And, you know, true to form, he said, you have to send somebody long. You know, he never sent anybody deep. I know he was right in hindsight, but he just never stopped coaching.
But was it still a thrill now that you were a college coach to still hear from him? And were you expecting that?
You know what? No, I wasn't. You know, and that's when it touches your heart to know that he just cares, and I'm just one of thousands and thousands of you know, kids that he coached, and to know that he cared so much about me, and not just me, but about all his children, so to speak. It just means so much. And you know, through this life, and you know, you can get caught up in so many superficial things, but it's the little things that matter. And I'll never forget that moment. I'm driving back from Connecticut the next morning when he talked about how nervous he was, you know, for me. And yeah, just something I'll always remember.
How much are you gonna miss him?
You know, I was on my way into the city, and you know he's getting older, and you know he's a little unhealthy, and when you get that call, you just didn't expect it. You think he's going to be there forever. In a life full of change, and, you know, there's changes daily, there's changes yearly in your life. He was the one constant. You know, he truly was. He was the guy that you always knew was going to be there, who was going to pick up the phone, and was going to help you any way he could if you asked. And he's going to be sorely missed, not just by me, but by so many.
You both played for him. You never had to coach against him. You did. So your first time as the head coach of All Hallows, when you play Archbishop Molloy, what's going through your mind, Jack?
We're in trouble. We're in trouble. You know his team is going to be good. As Coach always said, the first thing is you got to have good players. And for the most part, he always had good players. So that you knew. And you knew what the coaching was. You knew his team was going to be well prepared. You knew they were going to be disciplined. And, you know, Molloy always had, you know, a mystique to it. You know, playing them on the court. And it was tough. It was tough going in there. But eventually we learned how to play against them.
If the kid from St. Helena's in the Bronx didn't travel to Queens in the mid-'60s and play basketball for Archbishop Molloy, think you would have become a head coach?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. You know, because I probably would have ended up at St. Helena's, which is now my senior stand, with a whole group of guys that I grew up with and played with. We're all good players too. Coach Nat Silverberg was there at that time. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm very happy that I did go to Molloy. I'm very happy that I did have the opportunity to play for Coach, and I'm happy with the fact that I was able to go on and coach.
Jimmy Larrañaga and you are very close. He spoke tonight at the wake. He's getting ready for could be a deep run into the tournament.
Yes.
How much do you and Coach Larrañaga speak of Coach Curran?
It's probably, I would say, not a conversation that we had that his name isn't brought up. You know, we just you know, we reminisce about, you know, him, and like John would say, you know, what do you think he would have thought? Like, you know, I'm sure Coach would have flipped when that kid took a shot with a minute 3, because Larry was up 7. Larry, what is he thinking? You know? So,
They all do.
Larry Nagan and I
Everyone does
speak kind of regularly, and Coach always comes up. Larry is he's very upset. I got him last Thursday morning, and he couldn't believe it. You know, I told him.
Well, a year ago, he was inducted into the Catholic League Hall of Fame, and Coach, I think, was getting a hip operation or a knee operation. He couldn't make it, and Coach Curran went up to speak on Larranaga's behalf, and he told that great story, how he told Cousy at Boston College, you gotta offer this kid Larranaga, he's really good. He didn't think he was good enough. Larranaga goes to Holy Cross, first game the following year, they played Boston College. He dropped, what, 35 on Cousy and BC?
And then Cousy said, you're right, I should have taken him.
Well, you know what? Jack Currran almost took Bob Cousy's job in 1969. This is an interview Jimmy Cavallo did with the coach back in November of 2011. It's very interesting. The boys at Molloy are very lucky that Coach didn't make the jump to the collegiate level.
Well, I had several opportunities, but declined on all of them. I had one with Providence when Joe Mulaney was there, and he wanted me to be the coach to succeed him, but he had to offer it to Dave Gavitt first, because Dave was his assistant. So Dave took it, so I ended that one. And Boston College, when Cousy left, because I used to help him with his camp, and Bill Flynn called me. At the time, my mother was alive because I was taking care of her, and I had gone to bed, and she said, he's sleeping, call him tomorrow. Bill Flynn called me for the job, but he called me tomorrow. He called me the next day, and I wasn't available right here, and one of the students answered the phone, and then he called back again, and he offered me the job after I had gone up there for an interview. I drove up one day to see Cousy's last game, and met with their board of directors, and they offered me the job. And at the time, Cousy was making $14,000 a year, and I said, well, I can't work for that. Forget about it. And
Too much, right?
yeah, so then they called me back and offered me $18,000. They came back after halftime, so they offered me $18,000, Bill Flynn. And I said, I'll have to think about it. So then they called me on a Saturday. I was taping Brian Winter's ankle, because we were in the semi-final game and then the finals in basketball, 2 days apart. So I said, well, I can't wait now because I have to make a decision on what to do. He said, well, we want to announce it tonight at the televised game. I don't know what game was going on. So I said, well, we have to know right now. The answer is no, because I'm not sure what I can do. If you call me after the game, no, we can't do that. I said, well, the answer is no. And I think they called Dave Gavitt and offered him the job, and he turned it down. And then they called Chuck Daly, and he took it. And that's how Chuck got started. He was an assistant somewhere, I think at Penn.
It's unbelievable, right? I mean, you talk about a domino effect. Him not going opens it up for Chuck Daly. Unbelievable. Well, I tell you, you had already played for him, so if he had gone, you would have been okay. How glad are you he stayed?
I'll always remember him as one of my main mentors. So I wouldn't have known what I would have missed, I guess, but at the end of the day, I'm sure glad he was a big part of my life, a special part of my life.
Guys, I really appreciate it. John Dunn, John Carey, two young men that played for the legend Jack Currran. Now, this guy Dunn thought he was going to be the point guard in '86 and '87, and then this hotshot kid from Queens showed up, and Dunn, he didn't get all that much playing time after that.
Molloy is pressing all over the court. Here's another steal, and this one by Anderson driving to the basket. That makes it 17-12. 61-50. 11 points down. Casey to Anderson. Anderson in the front court. Jayona tries to steal. Anderson spins on
Kenny Anderson would go on to become the first four-time All-New York City selection. He would score 2,621 career points. At that time, upon graduation, nobody had scored more in a career in New York State than Kenny Anderson. He would lead the Stanners to titles his freshman year, 86, sophomore year, 87, and Kenny Anderson is kind enough now to join us on the phone. Kenny, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right, kind of cloudy, and it's a sad day for all fans and everybody that crossed Jack Currran's way. And he just was a great man, and he will be missed, especially, with me, I was, a snotty-nosed kid, coming from left back when I attended Molloy High School at like 14, 15 years old, and he molded me. I had the talent, but just didn't know how to lead or play the game the right way. So I don't know. I'm just lucky that I attended Molloy and also, coached by Jack Currran. My path would have been different. So God bless me.
Yeah, that's for sure. God bless all the young men that he was able to be around through the years. Kenny, I got to ask you, and I've never asked you this in 20 years of knowing you, did you ever say to Coach when he didn't let you start or play in the first quarter of any game your freshman year, did you ever say to Coach, come on, Coach, I've proved myself by now?
No, I didn't. It was understood. And really, our team, knew that really you just don't talk back. You just listened, and I was young. I'll have my opportunities, for the next 3 years. So I wasn't in no rush. My mentor, Vincent Smith, that sat me down and discussed, about not playing, but just always to be ready. And, I just did that. I kept my mouth shut. And like I said, it put me in a situation where I was taught how to lead, not a type of rah-rah leader, but someone that came in as a freshman. I was humbled. I just worked. I just wanted to get better, and I wanted to win. And I think the seniors and juniors understood that. And Greg Tracy was the senior point guard ahead of me. And Coach wanted him to get some looks from colleges. And, he said, you won't play, you won't start because you're all freshmen, but you're better than anybody on the team, but you're young, you have your chance. And I just didn't, even waver from it. I was fine with it.
Kenny, in 1986, you won the city title as a freshman. You beat the great Tolentine team coached by John Sarandria. You scored the game-winning basket in overtime. You get out of there that day at Rose Hill, 69-66. Up till then, until this day, you were the only freshman ever named most valuable player in the Catholic League tournament. What did Coach say to you to keep you grounded after you reached all that success at just the age of 15?
That's when my high school career, changed that night. I started getting looked at a lot differently, and all the colleges, I started getting a lot of, letters. He wouldn't give me my letters until I became a junior. So he had this storage room with like 2, 3, 4 boxes, but he didn't say anything to me. It was just understood. And that's probably the main reason, that I stayed with him, because he didn't, I never got a compliment from him. It was just suspected that I come in and do my job and lead the right way. So, to this day, every time I call him like 2, 3 times a month, man, checking in with him, see how he's doing. And before I, always used to hang up the phone, I said, Coach, I love you. And, he just never responded. You know what I mean? So I just hope he was proud of me, not so much basketball, but the person I became as a senior, as putting in work on academically, on staying eligible and just being a good kid, at that time. You know what I mean? So it was just today, seeing him in the casket, it was kind of eerie, and I won't be able to check in no more with him. So it would be sad because without Jack Currran, I had the talent, but no telling my past, would have been the same way without him. Some of my core values, he really molded me, like I said, at a young age.
Well, Kenny, you were one of the 480 young men that he touched in either football or basketball that got a scholarship to college. When I saw you today, I know how affected you were being up there at the wake today. And again, as I said to Kevin and all the guys who have stopped by, John Dunn, John Carey, I thank you for a couple of minutes on a very difficult day, because not only did your coach go, so did one of your really good friends.
Yeah, he's more than a coach to me, and it won't be a day that I will think about him every day of my life, because that's just how much he meant to me and, you know, all his ex-players. And it was great. Jim Larinaga spoke at the wake right. He did a nice speech for Jack Currran, and it was just very, very moving, very emotional, and I'm really happy that all the players and all the people that he affected showed up. And tomorrow at the funeral, it'll probably be even bigger. So, God bless the coach. He did it his way. He lived a great life. 83 years old. No more you could say.
Kenny, you said it great, my friend. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow up at the funeral in Rye. Kenny Anderson, one of the all-time great basketball players for Archbishop Molloy and in the history of New York City basketball. And he is that because of the legend, Jack Currran. We'll be back with much more on a night when we remember a legend.
That's actually why I
he was about to get his he was seeing his just a sign that we have coaches. He always had us first. Like everything that he involved was always about the kids, and he would always think of the best last one. Like say a situation with me, say we needed the best kid to be out there. It didn't matter that whatever kid we brought out there, anybody, he would just always be there for them. No matter somebody to talk to, he was always around. What are you going to do? Today's best is just a great way to show how great of a guy Coach Curran really was. Just to see how many guys he touched, show everybody show respect for him. I was
We're having a loud. I said, oh wait, because we're during my friend's party, but I
Ooh, son, you leaving at a bad time.
Curran.